I'm working with 60-year-old union guys that know that job better than anybody. And so a young college kid coming in there and give them ideas doesn't always go over well. Engineering always kind of taught me that your own mind and your own capabilities, you can go as far as you want. That was when I really kind of learned the people side of it, how important people are, because you can't do it all yourself. It activated my own entrepreneurial mindset and pulled me out of that big bureaucratic, there's people that you got to request permission for, to you got to execute, you got to follow through, you got to have a vision, and you have to be able to do all of those things with a very small team.
I have to have it perfect before we go to market. By the time we go to market, it's like too late. And it's like, yo, I'm just going to go pitch this concept because I have a team and I know I can do it. It like forces your hand. Hey, Matt, so good to have you in, man.
Thanks, man.
I'm actually really excited to have you on, dude. This is going to be a lot of fun. So Matt, just to kind of tee up like who you are and what you do and background and company you're with, just kind of give me an overview, or give the audience an overview.
Yeah,
rather.
So I grew up in good old Lake Orion, Michigan, not too far from here. After high school, I went to Michigan State, got a applied engineering degree there, which I thought was really beneficial just for the whole baseline of a career. That engineering education and mindset is something that I think really kind of traverses all different aspects of life, just basic problem solving, the scientific process, being able to methodically work down problems and break them into smaller pieces and solve them that way. So I really gained a lot and really thought that was really beneficial, having an engineering degree. And then in college, I made some great friends, some lifelong friends there that I'm still friends with today. And shortly thereafter, I went into Chrysler, got into automotive, just like my dad and just like everybody else in my parents' neighborhood and around the state for the most part. At Chrysler, I was in the manufacturing leadership development program. So it's actually a fairly selective program. They only bring in about 10 people. They get a couple thousand applicants. And you do rotational projects. So I believe it was 6 months, they give you a new project, you go to a new plant, you have a new boss, and you accomplish whatever you're set out to do, and you present out to executives at the end of that rotation. And that was great exposure for me at a really young age, coming straight out of college, being able to go and test a lot of the skills and the education and the problem solving abilities and just mentality that I was provided with the education there. And that was incredibly beneficial too, because not only did I have to solve a problem in a technical aspect, but I'm working with people on a daily basis there that have been doing that same job for longer than I'd been alive. I'm working with 60-year-old union guys that know that job better than anybody. And so a young college kid coming in there and trying to pick around and poke their brain and give them ideas doesn't always go over well, right? They can be a little standoffish or defensive. And I've been doing this job longer than you've been alive, kid. Like, what are you coming in here and tell me how to do this for? So really kind of, that was when I really kind of learned more of the people side of it. Engineering always kind of taught me that your own mind and your own capabilities, you can go as far as you want. But this is where I really kind of learning the people side of growing and how important people are to accomplishing whatever mission or project you're out there to set on, because you can't do it all yourself. That's a fact. You need to bring people in, and most of the time, the people are the ones that have the ideas and the solutions already. You just need to present it and be approachable for those guys. So being a good sounding board for them and making friends with these guys, being trustworthy that they're not going to get in trouble, that you want to test things and try things with them. So that was a great experience. I did that for 4 years. Chrysler Stellantis now was gracious enough to pay for my master's degree, which was another great experience, and met some more lifelong friends, some guys I'm actually closed the loop with and I'm working with now currently back at Emerald Canning Partners. After Chrysler, my college roommate was actually Andrew Blake, who his family owns Blake's Orchard and Cider Mill. And after college, he went and started Blake's Hard Cider Company, which was an incredible thing to watch.
It was just crazy, by the way, because I don't mean to cut you off.
No, please.
Blake's is always growing up. It was just a place where you went and got pumpkins and whatever, hung out as a kid. But they've like blown up to this like huge huge brand.
They really have, and they've got multiple farm locations all around Armada right there. They do an incredible job hosting events and making the fall a real experience for everybody. Everything from fresh cider and donuts to zombie paintball and a lot of haunted attractions and stuff like that. That place has really created a gravity around it. It just attracts people to it, and I was one of the people that was incredibly attracted to it. Coming out of a massive no window warehouse, and when I first started helping out Andrew over there, they were producing probably 10,000 cases a year out of the facility. They had
the hard cider.
Yep. They just got the hard cider up and running. I actually would go out there on busy weekends and help bust tables and do random stuff like that. And he gave me some hard cider and wine to take home for the day, and that's all I needed. I was 22 or 23 or whatever, so that was good enough. I got to hang out with my buddy. Got
best job ever.
Yeah, exactly. Some free wine, and I had a paycheck on the back end anyway. So my hours at Chrysler are what kind of afforded me the opportunity to even test leaving a big corporate job, because that's always what I thought and assumed I would get into, was a safe career path and a nice, good corporate job where I could contribute, make a difference, climb the ladder, all that fun. And I worked, I think it was 4 a.m. till 2 p.m. when I was at Chrysler. And so I had all afternoon to kill. I would go mountain biking. I would hang out with my dog, my girlfriend, whatever I was doing. And fall was coming around. So the hard cider company was starting to get busy. And I was talking to Andrew. And so I was going out there and helping out in the afternoons. And I would go there at like 2 or 3 o'clock and stay till 8 or 9, whenever we got done, and had a couple beers and would wrap it up. And after a couple months, they ended up bringing me into a room with, I was told it wasn't an interview, but it sat down at a table just like this. And it turned out it was mostly an interview, because it came with a job offer shortly thereafter. And to be able to walk out of a very strict corporate bureaucratic environment with no windows in any of the buildings, to walk into a beautiful farm on a daily basis. I mean, awesome. Yeah, I was like, this is a no-brainer. This is worth the risk. And I remember talking it over with my parents and my girlfriend and everything like that. Like, do I make this jump? I mean, it's a very small family business, very entrepreneurial family, and it's a beautiful thing. So I thought I'd be a fool not to take the opportunity, essentially.
So what was that job? What was that offer? Like, what was?
I think it was a production manager.
Okay.
Is what the title was. Was for it. They had a head cider maker who was really good. He understood all the basics of cider, and I had a really strong background in lean manufacturing.
So they wanted you specifically in for cider.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Specifically for the hard cider, and to help that scale. I think Andrew had actually sold in canned products prior to ever buying a canning line. So we had sold them into Meyer or Kroger or something like that. So we were in the blitz of getting a canning line stood up and figuring out kegging and.
So you guys sold it before you had it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's really good at that. I've got to get.
I like that a lot.
He's incredible when it comes to that.
That's what people overthink stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I have it perfect before we go to market. By the time you go to market, it's like too late. And it's like, yo, I'm just going to pitch this concept because I have a team and I know I can do it.
Yep.
Oh my God, they bought it. Let's fucking go.
Now let's go.
And then you just got to execute. But it forces your hand.
It really does. And I think that's the right way to do it, because you could spend all the money on the canning line with the hope and dream that you'll actually activate it. But if you can do the inverse and you can sell the product and guarantee that you have that sales, you can chew up that capacity on the line, like by all means, that's the riskier way to do it, because you have customers that are counting on you at that point. But at the same time, it's
no one's going to die, dude.
Nobody's going to die.
Yeah. No one's going to die. It's going to be okay.
You might miss a deadline. Yeah. You might hit something like that, not understand your cogs or something along those lines. But at the end of the day, it motivates you, and it gives you something to shoot for, and it puts real skin in the game for you to make sure that you can kind of bring that to a close and follow through with your promises to those customers, which I think is always an obligation that everybody needs to uphold.
100%.
So I started doing that with Andrew, and that's been basically the last, call it 10 years. I ran the hard cider company. I started production manager, basically washing kegs and learning how everything went, or how do you make cider and all the nuances of that. I jumped back and forth from the farm side to the hard cider side, because they are two very different businesses. The farm is very seasonal, and hard cider is more year round. So jumping over and helping out in the season, which was great. It activated my own entrepreneurial mindset and pulled me out of that big bureaucratic there's people that you got to request permission for and approval processes for everything to, you got to execute, you got to follow through, you got to have a vision, and you have to be able to do all of those things with a very small team. And I think that was a lot of fun. It was a total change for me coming from the big bureaucratic corporate environment to being able to go into a totally different life on a farm, entrepreneurial, and it was great, especially because those guys are such great leaders. I got to give Pete, Paul, and Andrew and the whole Blake family a shout out. They are some of the hardest working guys I've ever met. They're there first in the morning and last to leave. Right? Yeah. And they take that to
heart. That's like what their background. I mean, how long has the business been around? Over 100 years or something, right? A long time.
I think it's going on 80 now.
80 years,
I want to say this year's 80, 1946.
Yes, 1946. I mean, they were just farming, dude.
Yeah.
That's hard work, bro. Like, I'm not saying them specifically, but that's in their lineage,
They're the farmers. I mean, they still jump in tractors to this day. And you love to see it. You love to see it when the owners and the operators are that involved and that passionate, and they know every nook and cranny of their own business. Because you don't need to show them KPIs and metrics. They feel it on a daily basis. And it's something incredible when you can watch somebody and learn from somebody like that has that level of nuance and detail in their own business. It really is a lot of fun. And then, we worked on the hard cider company for basically the last 10 years.
Which is a big company now. Are you guys like second biggest in the country?
Second biggest in the country, only next to Angry Orchard. And Blake's Hard Cider actually formed Blake's Beverage Company, and we picked up Avid Cider Company out of Oregon.
Okay.
And then Austin East Ciders out of Texas. Okay. So now Blake's Beverage Company actually owns all three of those, and they've split them up in kind of regional outfits for each one of the corners of the United States for the most part.
Is it the same cider?
No, it's not. It is different cider. And that's one of the big things that we did while I was there was we went and we chased the apples. Michigan's top 5 apple state in the country. New York is up there, and Oregon's up there. Mm-hmm. And a bad frost comes through.
Texas is too?
Texas, not many apples in Texas.
Yeah,
not many.
But you said Texas, right?
Yep. Okay. Austin East Ciders was out of Texas, and they had a great products, great team, everything like that. And that's where we were able to really help them. Yeah. Is we understood the apples, and we were buying enough apples and apple juice and cider and all that to make an impact on their product line as well. So it was.
How does that feel to say that? Like, I understand apples. Does it feel kind of weird? Like the first time you said it, you're like, I'm in the apple game. You know, does it feel like fucking Johnny Appleseed, dude?
It really does. It feels
like we're trading fur or something.
It really is. And all the fun apple facts that I now have just ingrained.
Let me hear some, dude. Like top 3 apple facts. Bro.
Top 3 apple facts. If you plant an apple, you will not get the same apple. If you plant a Honeycrisp apple, you're going to get a random off variety.
Really?
In order to grow Honeycrisp apples, you actually need to graft a branch off a Honeycrisp apple tree to a rootstock, and the top stock of the graft determines the apple variety, and the rootstock. So
Honeycrisp can't reproduce naturally.
Basically, it'll reproduce different apples, but it won't grow Honeycrisp variety again. Okay. Yeah. Takes about 5 years for an apple tree to actually grow an apple. That's another fun one. Most of the apple trees you see nowadays are dwarf apple trees. They top out at like 10 feet tall, where natural apple trees are much taller. You'll see them 20, maybe 30 feet tall, something like that.
We got some on out at Wingate. Hole 18. Yeah. You got to come out there, dude.
Oh, yeah.
There's an apple tree, and it has just like natural wild growing.
Oh, that's
apples
cool.
on it. Like they're like small.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're like rough.
They're high tannin, like
they're kind of like green
crab apples,
but they're good, bro. Like they're really good. I'm like, oh my god, this is like one of the best apples I've ever had. And it's just it's not like somebody's out there like taking care of the tree. It's just a naturally. I think they obviously planted it, but like that's pretty cool. Like,
it really is, and I mean they're really hardy plants. Yeah, they really are. They
don't fight off all the geese that are hanging out.
That's exactly it. I mean, they're getting attacked by deer and every other woodland creature on a daily basis, and yeah, it's a lot of fun being able to be outside and touch and feel the fruit, and then watch it walk all the way through the process to a finished canned good.
That's cool, man. Yeah. So you guys have the 3 outfits, 4 outfits?
3
outfits now.
We had 4 production facilities at one time, and 3 different organizations all under that Blake's Beverage Company umbrella. Cool. Which was a lot of fun. And we went from, I think in my time there, we scaled it from about 10,000 cases to about 1.3 million. And the boys and girls there have continued to do a great job and continue to grow that business since I've moved on to Emerald Canning Partners, but still love.
Yeah, so let's talk about Emerald Canning Partners. So how was that formed?
Yeah, so Emerald Canning Partners was formed. It was a joint venture between Michigan Canning Partners, which a large portion of that investment group is the Blake family and their immediate friends and family and people who have a know-how in beverage, call it. And then the other side of the table was Pleasantries, one of the larger vertically integrated cannabis companies in the state. So we had some mutual friends that brought us together as soon as Cannabis Beverages were an option, and the state put out a memo or a letter saying, hey, if companies want to go out and do this, here's the rules and regs.
When was that? Like, what year was that?
I want to say it was about 2021 is when we first kind of got started. And then we formed a new company.
And imagine if you guys could have did it in COVID. Oh, man. Insane, bro.
You're probably right. That would have probably been a wild
doing
time.
DoorDashing or like whatever the app is for that. It would have been insane.
Oh, you can do DoorDash now.
Yeah.
You can. And so we started Emerald Canning Partners, and we basically we got the full investment in there, and we leased out some space in the old Gibraltar Trade Center right off of 94 right there. Okay. And we started building out the facility. So myself and Matt Wiles and a lot of the team from Blake's, we brought all the beverage knowledge. The cannabis guys brought all the cannabis knowledge to it. So it really was a really good symbiotic relationship that we had formed to launch this. What we'd seen a lot of other companies do is they started with guys that knew cannabis, and they tried to just...
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Yeah, they tried to attack the beverage learning curve. And I think that beverage learning curve is harder and more cumbersome and nuanced than people originally gave it credit for. And that was what kind of set us apart, was we were able to, the cannabis stuff was relatively easy, especially given today's technology and emulsions and stuff like that you can use. But the beverage, the canning, the quality testing, the formulations, the compliance, all of that is what... Coming from all of that and being able to bring that knowledge and that shared experience into cannabis was what really allowed us to kind of hit the ground running, I think. Because I wouldn't say hit the ground running. Let me back up a little bit on that, because it was
brand new, right? It's like nobody knew about it.
It was brand new, and we built this beautiful purpose-built white box facility in the Gibraltar Trade Center. And I mean, it was one of the nicest facilities I've ever had the pleasure of helping design and build out. But when we launched, we didn't really have any products. We had this beautiful facility. We had a team kind of in place ready to take it on. But the state testing guidelines are so stringent and so cumbersome that we built the facility and still didn't have products we could launch because the testing timelines took longer than it did to build out the facility. So that's when we started launching Highly Casual and some of the house brand products that we have. We really wanted to attract variety and give consumers and buyers kind of a one-stop shop to come in and get all the beverages they wanted for the stores. There's about 800 dispensaries in the state. And at the time...
So you were creating an area where dispensaries could come in and buy bulk? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yep. So
I like that strategy.
The way cannabis works is you have to... Wholesalers will ship to a secure transport. Secure transport transports to the individual stores. But it's not like Coke or grocery or CPG in that one guy will come into the store and stock 15 different items. He'll stock the Snickers, the Butterfingers, the Kit Kats, and all those products, and then leave and send them a bill. You're reliant on individual buyers to check their inventories, FIFO their inventory, and be aware of new products coming in, which becomes really, really cumbersome when there's hundreds of different brands in the state trying to buy for those buyers' attention. So when you're able to come to a buyer with a portfolio of products, a variety from light dose seltzers to full sugar, full flavored, full milligram sodas and everything in between, it offers a full spectrum of products that these guys can latch onto, because we notice massive differences between stores in, call it Traverse City, or stores in Detroit, and what their purchasing preferences are, because they know their consumer. They know what those consumers want, whether they're price conscious or they're calorie conscious or dose conscious or whatever those criteria may be. So being able to come in and offer a variety of products is ultimately what we knew we wanted to do. But coming into the state and essentially having to prove that, hey, we built this beautiful facility, but now what? Now what? You spent a bunch of money and still don't have any products or any licensing deals or contracts or anything like that. So that was really kind of step one. And
so was Highly Casual the first product?
Highly Casual was. Yep. So we launched Highly Casual and Pleasant Teas, both low dose products. Highly Casual's first product was actually 2 milligrams. And our plan with that was to bring...
I wouldn't even get my 2-year-old, my 1-year-old. No.
Yeah.
my 4-year-old son can drink that, bro.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. Honestly, though, they're so low dose. And that's why we wanted to start that. We wanted something that's really approachable. We thought if we started with a 100
it's almost like a CBD gummy. Like people probably
exactly.
like a sleep thing. People looked at it like, right? Like,
yeah, we wanted it to be very sessionable so you don't have... Everybody's got a bad edible story, whether it's a brownie in college or something like that. Like everybody I know has a bad story.
I was an avid weed smoker in high school, and my friend, edibles really weren't like a big thing.
Yeah.
When I was in high school unless somebody made brownies. So my buddy makes a brownie. I'm like, wow, yeah, give me the fucking brownie. I ate the whole brownie. And I remember sitting in first period, at the end of first period, it just hits in, dude. And I'm walking through the halls and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. I'm like an everyday weed smoker, dude. And my next class I have to present. And I'm literally holding up the paper. And I'm not kidding, dude. It's like the words are moving. And I'm just like this. I'm supposed to be presenting, but I'm just reading like this. I failed.
Yeah.
That's my edible story, dude. I was like, oh my God, this is different.
Everybody's got one, man. I've got too many that I've witnessed. Edibles have always kind of scared me a little bit just because you see that. Like some people they affect.
My wife will kill me if I tell her edible story. Yeah. Oh my God, she'll kill me.
That one almost came to mind, but I left that one
she will kill. Did I tell you about it? I'll tell you about it later. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so funny, dude. That's like how it's like actually like kind of like how we became close.
Oh, is it?
Saved. Long story short, she thought I was the devil and I saved her life. I mean, we'll talk about it later. And then she's like, oh my God, he loves me.
That's the start of all good stories, man.
Sorry, babe.
Yeah. But no, that's why we wanted to start there was so that nobody could have that experience. We could supply really consistent, predictable experiences. And our target customer was the non-weed smoker, but the people that maybe smoked a little weed in college and liked the feeling, the euphoria of it, but didn't want to light up a joint in their kitchen or in their garage or sneak off to the back porch.
Yeah, it's got a stigma to it.
It does, yeah. and that smell and everything. It
still
like
kind of
does,
carries in. Legal,
it's just such a socially acceptable way. I mean, everybody consumes beverages all day long, whether it's coffee or water throughout the day or a beer or wine. At the end of the day, it's a very social and very approachable format and familiar for everybody. So we really thought we'd be able to bring every soccer mom and every low dose consumer or canna-curious people into dispensary chains to start buying these products as long as we offered them a product. And we just thought the dispensary chain wasn't doing that yet because most of it's pre-rolls and vapes and gummies and stuff like that. And that was our first big failure, I'd say. that did not work out. What we learned very quickly was that you got to meet consumers where they're at, and that a current dispensary consumer is a higher dose consumer. The ones going into the dispensaries on a daily basis are looking for pre-rolls and flowers and vape cards.
Yeah, I think the dispensaries are still a little bit intimidating, right?
Yeah,
for like I could see. I don't know the purchasing habits of like soccer moms who indulge, but like I could imagine they're having maybe somebody else go to the store and pick it up for them in a way.
That's exactly it, 100%. And that's what we noticed with beverages too. Yeah. Was that
and they're also not going in the store for the beverage. They're going in the they're seeing the beverage. I mean, like I'd try that, and then it's 2 milligrams. So like I'm good. Yeah. Like
you're spot on with both those concepts, and those were two of the earliest lessons that we learned was that the people that are going into dispensaries are buying high dose stuff, but they're thinking of their friends and families and the people that are canna-curious and might take a hit off the joint or the vape pen on a Friday night or something like that. And that's who was buying these beverages. We weren't actually getting a new consumer into the stores. Their friends and family were buying the low dose stuff and taking it home and giving it to them. So we really started having much more success when we started putting the correct milligram and product style into
What's your highest milligram beverage now?
So we make Beverage proper is 100 milligrams. It's a state legal limit. I brought you guys some. The Mary Jones are great. They all have resealable tops. So
I think it's great. Good for that. Yeah, I'll die.
But our highest dose product overall are the 200 milligram syrups, which they come in either 2 or 4 ounce bottles, and they're honestly good. I would never drink one, but what a lot of people do is they pour them out into an ice cube tray and they freeze them. And
is it like cough syrup? Like
it's
textured?
Yeah. It's a little bit more viscous, a little bit thicker, just to abide by all the regulations and stuff like that in the state. But yeah, that's also what allows us to go up to the 200 milligram on those. It's now considered a food product versus a beverage. So it really kind of competes with the edible stuff. But in our opinion, they are arguably better products than a lot of the edibles out there too, because the tech in beverages is so much more advanced, just due to the fact that in order to make a beverage, you have to have it totally water soluble. You can't have emulsion or beverage separate and you drink the entire dose at the very top or very bottom of the can. It's going to send somebody on a wild ride.
Yeah, because I might just want half of it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really the tech that I think that unlocked cannabis beverages, for, in my opinion at least, is companies like Vertosa who are out there and making high quality, predictable, water soluble, homogenizable emulsion that beverage producers like us can confidently add to our tanks and vessels and blend up and make sure that we're producing consistent, easy products for our consumers all the time. It's wild seeing some of the products that come out though.
So ECP now, how many brands do you guys currently manufacture?
So we've got 9 brands, 5 brand partners, 3 house brands, and 1 co-packing partner that we represent as well.
Okay. All in Michigan or?
All in Michigan, all out of the same facility in the Gibraltar Trade Center. And yeah, thanks for bringing me back on track there. But we launched the house brands solely with the intent of proof of concept. We knew that we wanted to attract some of the biggest and best brands in the country. We knew that having 1 or 2 brands on a shelf isn't attractive for a buyer or a consumer. When you walk up to a fridge and it's one thing all the way through, you're not very enticed to even go try something. But when you see a variety of brands, a variety of products, a variety of product styles and dosages and everything like that, that's when it'll actually capture your attention. You'll walk up to that fridge and really see what's in there for you. So our house brands really started off as a proof of concept so that we could attract some of the bigger and badder companies in the country, such as like Mary Jones or CQ or Uncle Arnie's. And we're still working on a few other ones, but being able to attract those great brand partners and bring that variety and that name recognition into the state so that consumers are comfortable with that product. Mary Jones Jones Soda is a huge brand in the state of Michigan. So it was an easy transition for Mary Jones to step into the state and bring all that brand equity and the consumer recognition right into it. And that's when we really started seeing some step function changes in the business.
So that worked. Like
that part
really
did work. Yep, it worked really well in bringing that in. We saw immediate step function changes every time we launched a brand, every time we launched a product. And the cool and the great thing about it is that the rising tide raises all ships with this. Whenever you launch a new product or a new brand, it re-engages the buyers. It resets the shelf. It re-engages the bartenders. It gives consumers something new to look at. So literally every single time we launch a new product or a new brand, we see orders spike for everything. So it's something that we were really cautious of.
Do you see orders spike in the other brands when you bring a new brand in?
Absolutely.
Because you guys are more doing, you're like on the category basically in a way.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like
we're just beverage.
Almost, yeah,
exactly. And being able to, we like to say, own the fridge. We're the one-stop shop for all these guys. These guys are buying flour and vapes and edibles from 15 different company and people and trying to manage all those relationships. We're able to bring them 60 different products with one rep and one order, so they can totally restock the fridge. And you
said it's not like an easy thing to start doing. Like
no, no, it really wasn't. You got to
build a whole fucking canning line. Like you got to know how to can. Like you got to know all the science behind it. Like
and that's it. And that's what sets us apart from a lot of the other manufacturers.
And then you have your own apples too, which is awesome.
Yeah,
right? Like
we're able to do that. Tap into our heritage and our legacy and friends. There.
Slam dunk. Yeah,
it really is. And those products are some of the fastest selling products in the state, kind of bar none. And they're great products. They really are. But being able to essentially one of the things that's much different about us than any of the other guys that are in the same space doing similar things is that we're start to finish. So we do the order and we do the material ordering. We do the production and scheduling. We house the finished goods. We pick and pack and ship the finished goods. And we're partnered with Yield Distribution, who does all the sales and and some of the marketing for us too. Whereas in many other states, these brands, they have a manufacturer who ships to a distribution warehouse. The distribution warehouse outsources sales to a sales team, where they have an internal sales team. So there's really multiple steps and links in that chain where we've been able to bring that all under one roof and make it incredibly easy for everybody. And it turns out it's easier for us too, than having to manage another partner who has different priorities and different products that they're trying to work through, but bring it all in house and expanding like we did. We recently took on another 17,000 square feet to make sure that we continue growing with all the products that we have launching. But doing all that under one roof ensures a really smooth supply chain. We're able to handle it from start to finish. We're in constant communication with the sales team and the marketing teams and production, and it makes it an easier process.
So when people see this, they don't think about all the manufacturing and everything that goes behind it. You're like, yeah, just give me my drink. But when you actually understand the manufacturing, it's so much. Dude.
Oh yeah, I mean everything from can prices and the compliance. These individual stickers that we have to put on every single can are an absolute nightmare compared to any other beverage manufacturing in the country, where we have to actually individually apply a sticker to
you guys have to physically
every single can that comes.
Can't be automated. It's gotta
no. We could automate it, but that's a tricky thing.
If you miss one, you're in trouble.
Yeah, because they have to be unique to every case. So don't want to get into the weeds too much on that.
Yeah,
but it double handles everything.
Yes, there's a lot of steps.
Yeah, normally something comes off the end of the canning line, you palletize it, you ship it. Here we have to palletize it, put it into cold storage, wait until lab testing comes back, bring it back out, tag everything, and then ship it out. So it adds a whole nother layer of complexity and labor to an already kind of slower than normal process.
You're harvesting the apples. I mean, it's pretty labor. So you're literally growing it from the ground.
It really is. But nonetheless, it's been a great experience, kind of start to finish, being able to help build a category, and coming from, call it last place in the state where we didn't have products out there. A couple of our competitors had good and early leads on us, to now I think we make between 60 and 80% of all the beverages in the state, depending on which way you want to cut the math. And we think that brings a lot of value to everybody. To the consumers, they get a variety of products. They come from a trustworthy manufacturer. It's not people making the stuff in the bathtub or the basement.
I've been to the facility. It's legit.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We put a lot of time and effort and pride and a lot of lessons learned from previous builds into that place. And it's growing. Having a good team, you know all about that. You can't do anything without a stellar team, and that's really what determines long term how you're going to go.
So we talked to first off, so you can only sell this product in Michigan, right? Yep. And you told me that in some other markets that are more mature, the product's been around longer. I think you said California is 3% of the market is beverages.
Correct. Yeah.
I think you said in Michigan it's 0.3%.
Yeah. Yep.
Something like that.
That's a great fun fact. Yeah. Michigan, last time I saw from Headset, Michigan was the fastest growing cannabis beverage market in the country. We're also one of the smallest cannabis beverage markets in the country, where I think the number was 0.6% of total cannabis sales, whereas a mature market, you're closer to 3 to 5%. Yeah. So we have a massive growth trajectory ahead of us. And Michigan being number 1 or 2, depending on the month, in cannabis consumption per capita, and also being a mecca for craft beer.
You said Michigan's number 1 or 2 in cannabis consumption, period?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Next to California. We kind of go back and forth from my understanding.
You're crushing it, dude.
Yeah. And
they got 4 times as many people as us too.
Yeah, well, they cut it per capita.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It does come down to per capita, but yeah, I mean, we're right there, 1 or 2. And also Michigan was a craft beer and craft beverage mecca across the board. So craft beer was booming in Michigan. We had some of the most breweries per capita, and craft
I feel like that's tied out.
And those 2 things blend to make cannabis beverages. Yeah. I really think that 3 to 5% is a lower boundary in Michigan, especially in the dispensary chain. If you could ever get out of the dispensary chain, like I was saying, there's 800 dispensaries in the state. You probably actually want to do business with 500 of them. We're currently in about 450 every 90 days. But there's 37,000 liquor stores in the state. So being able to tap into
liquor stores are part of a culture too, that everyone feels comfortable walking into. You can be a kid and walk in and get a gum and get advertised Bud Light, and when you're older, you're like, I want that beer that my dad drank.
Yep, you're a different 100% thing, spot on, and that ties right back into the
hard to compete. You can't really compete directly with.
No, you can't, and because you're changing. You're not only changing purchasing habits, but you're changing total shopping habits. You're changing their daily routine. People aren't the mom who's going into Kroger and Meijer to get her groceries and a bottle of wine or a White Claw or High Noon or whatever isn't going to stop at a dispensary with the kids in the car to go grab a can of Highly Casual or something like that. But when she gets out at Kroger, Target, Meijer, or wherever, if those same products are available on the shelf there,
just conveniently there, I can grab it, throw it in the cart.
They're right there. And 10 milligram and under products, in my opinion, are alcohol competitive products. There's something at the end of the day, somebody wants to unwind, have a sip, have a glass, and chill out. Or you're on a beach and you're grabbing stuff out of the cooler. They're great products for those kind of slow and steady. The dispensary and the high dose products, those are very different consumers. Going after a 100 milligram Mary Jones soda is much more akin to a dab or buying a pre-roll or something like that. And those are very different consumers with very different purchasing habits. So being in the dispensary channel, we're getting the consumer now that's in the dispensary, but we're still not able to bring that, call it the larger part of the market, into the dispensary just because of the stigma. And you're seeing it degrade over time continuously. But I think if we're still in the dispensary channel, I think that dispensary stigma comes from the dispensary, coming from the fact that you have to go into a whole separate store in order to get these products. Whereas if they were sold on a shelf,
that'll change over time.
Yeah, I really do think it will.
Because you're like in 10 years from now, it's like, okay, now the guys who were, what's the legal age for marijuana consumption in Michigan? 21?
I think so.
So the guys who were 21 going to those spots are now 31, right? So now you're capturing like, okay, they feel comfortable going into.
It's a generational change.
But by that time, you might even have this on the shelves, like right?
Yep, and that's it. Like if I've got my kids in the car, I won't stop into a dispensary to run. You can't bring them in. You can't do anything. Yeah. But you can stop into Kroger and grab a bottle of wine and some snacks or whatever you need any day of the week. So getting into that market, and I fully believe it's inevitable at this point with all the federal rules and regs that are changing.
In other states, is it or no? Is it all?
Yeah, like Minnesota and Tennessee and Texas, a lot of these states that have prolific hemp programs. They are different products. There's a lot of nuance between hemp and cannabis-derived THC, but the federally legal, or call it loophole products, or the hemp products, and those are available. If you go to Minnesota, they're on every shelf.
You can't do that in Michigan, though?
You can't do that in Michigan, no. But Minnesota, in most of the stores, I don't have the facts off the top of my head, but in most of the stores that sell THC beverages, they've actually surpassed beer, wine, and liquor sales. Wow. So it's a prolific market, and it shows consumers want those products. They truly do. You just got to make it accessible for them. Yeah. And with craft beer and wine and liquor and alcohol just in general being down, I mean, the new generation doesn't really drink. It's so much lower than it ever has been. These products are taking off. It's another way people need a way to unwind, and whether that's a Zin or a cigarette or a can of this or a piece of chocolate, everybody's got a vice that gives them that feel good feeling at the end of the day. Like, all right, I got done. I can unwind now, and that trigger for that unwind. So yeah, just being able to get these things in regular accessible places, I think is the next evolution.
It's so funny we're talking about, like, I just never would have imagined having this conversation. Like 20 years
I wouldn't
ago.
imagine working here, man. 10 years, 5 years ago.
Yeah, whatever. Like 20 years ago, I was smoking weed behind Rite Aid next to Rochester High School, running from police. And now you can just now you can buy it. Yeah, exactly.
So weird, dude. We've got cops that love our products now.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? It's totally fine.
Great way there, and they're a great transitional product too, because alcohol, like, I've got 3 kids. Like me, if I go out and have a good night with the boys and I wake up the next day, man, I am cooked. It's like a full day recovery, and you got the Sunday scaries and you're feeling like a bad dad trying to play with the kids and everything. But you could have 2 or 3 of these and wake up and you're all good. You had just as much fun.
It's all politics, really, right?
Yeah.
That's what it all comes down to.
I think so. Yeah. It's all the politics.
Alcohol's been here for a while. They got a lot of money.
That's it. The alcohol lobbyists are some of the most powerful in the country when it comes to that. And to your point, they've been around so long that their structure and their laws and regulations are solidified. One of the wildest things about coming into cannabis, coming from alcohol, is how malleable the rules and regs are and how quickly they change. And the beautiful thing is how interactive we can be with the regulatory agencies and stuff like that. Us being one of the larger producers in the state, we have a great relationship with them. We invite them out, we show them what we're working on, we show them how we're doing things, why we're doing things, changes we want to make, and they're very collaborative with us on a lot of those things. So we're very grateful that we do have a good regulatory body, but it's an immature market, an immature category. Immature, even like dispensaries and buyers and grocers and stuff like that. These guys aren't like grocers who know how to handle short shelf life products like produce and stuff like that. So trying to put a pure juice product into a dispensary channel is much more difficult than putting something that's has a year shelf life on it. It's something
all the products you guys have are pure juice too?
No, we've got a variety. Yeah. So we've got like some products like our cold brew coffee and our juice based stuff. They have much shorter shelf lives. They've got 3 or 6 month shelf lives max, whereas some of the sodas and stuff like that have year shelf lives.
Okay.
And so the dispensary chains they can manage the year shelf lives much easier because it's more in line with flour and their normal, we'll call it expiration patterns, versus anything like a produce, like a Kroger or Meyer can really handle. So I also think being able to get into that channel would unlock a whole new category of products that we could put out there. You could anything from smoothies to short shelf life perishable products are now accessible to consumers. And
think about how much more friendly the bars would be too,
Yeah. Bar fights would go way down.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Everyone should be falling asleep on the fucking bar. Yeah. Oh, dude, give me another.
They'd sell twice as many appetizers and
give me a Wheat Rica. Yeah. Give me that Mary Rita Rica. Those sales go up, dude. This is it. This is the unlock for restaurants.
I think so. And you see states like New York where they got real bullish on on-premise sales early. Consumers love it. They really do. And those sales a lot of times outweigh the alcohol sales even. It's funny because every state has their own take on the rules and regs. So you get to see dozens of little microcosms working themselves out, and then being in the industry and being in tune with all of it, you see kind of what's working, what's not, and you're able to take that and then work with the regulators to try and make those changes for what you think is going to be best for.
Are you guys allowed to help brands in other states, like help them or be a partner with them? Or
so we our brand partners like Mary Jones and Uncle Arnie's and CQ, they're prolific. They're in several other states each, and we're always a sounding board for them. Those guys, they're great operators themselves. They wouldn't have made it this far if they didn't understand the manufacturing, the marketing, the sales of their products themselves. But we're always there to help. We get questions every now and then on if somebody gets a bad can off the end of the line, hey, what do you think happened here? Or what'd you guys do in Michigan that worked so well? Another good example was dispensaries. They're small shops, right? They're small shops, pegboard all the way around. They got 1,000 SKUs in there, and everybody's fighting for shelf space. And one of the things that we did that had one of the biggest ROIs and impacts we possibly could have was we started deploying full-size refrigerators. So we've bought probably 150 fridges now.
You buy the displays for the dispensary?
Yep. And then we wrapped them, and me and Shane hand delivered most of them with
they probably love it. Like, this is sick.
It's great for so many reasons, because now you have, instead of being stuck in like a jewelry box next to the pre-rolls and the edibles and products kind of scattered across the store, it's now consolidated. Mm-hmm. And people say if it's cold, it's sold. Getting cold, well-lit merchandising with a fridge where everything's consolidated, they can scan through easily, see all the dosages, all the product flavors, all the brands, everything like that. Was really incredible. And it also, one of the effects that we didn't think it was going to have or didn't really think about was that's defensible real estate. We still own those fridges. So we don't allow stores to put their rosins, their resins, competitive products in those fridges. And it basically guarantees us shelf space. And that's been one of our biggest competitive advantages, is being able to offer the fridge. Now we give the store the merchandising space and location and the cold storage for these things. And then we're able to completely fill the fridges. So we've got 60 some SKUs now. So you can fill every shelf of the fridge. And when we started deploying dorm room, small fridges.
Okay, so that's a sick sale. So that's a sick way to sell it. So is that one of the ways that you got into all these like good dispensaries?
Yeah, I would say
you just make it a no-brainer for them. Like
that was it. I think the stat was 51 dispensaries unlocked the second we dropped the fridge in. They wouldn't basically open the doors to us until we got them a fridge, someplace to put the product. And
did you guys decide that off feedback, or was that just like a brainstorm? Like, hey, let's pitch them this idea.
That idea.
So that's a good idea.
I don't know who came up with the original idea. I can't take credit for it, but I want to say Brian Wickersham had the original idea to deploy refrigerators, and then that went on for probably a year, got pretty stagnant. We weren't able to get much sales data because we just kind of dropped the fridges. We knew it would work, but we didn't have any KPIs or metrics to really kind of track those things. But then we went through and we did it much more methodical. The second time we deployed almost 100 more fridges in one set. I think the average sales doubled in the stores. The order times cut nearly in half. The order frequencies went up, and the average order, like the average basket size went up. And then talking to those dispensaries, their average baskets went up too, because the average consumer isn't coming into a dispensary to get a 10 milligram beverage. They're coming in to get a pre-roll, they're coming in to get flower, vapes, or something along those lines. And the beverages are the add-on product for their cousin.
Yeah, it's like an energy drink at the gas station.
Exactly.
Thing or
exactly. Yeah. So it's a great pitch for the stores, and that it's an easy $5 sale on top of every ticket.
Is that what one of these costs? About $5?
Yep. Those highly casuals, I think, are $5 out the door. New 24% tax didn't help anybody with pricing, but we're still working on it. And beverage is a scale game too. So we currently run a 25 can a minute canning line out of our facility. We can get up to 30 on days. But the rest of the facility was built for 250 cans a minute. So that's really what we have our eyes on, is being able to utilize all of our equipment.
So is that I know you just bought all this extra, you built the extra warehouse, or you guys have the extra space now, or whichever. So is that kind of the growth game? Is like, hey, we need more manufacturing space so that we can just, like, we're running out of product, basically, right?
Yep.
That's a great problem to have.
Yep, exactly. And it's a beautiful problem, and it's a beautiful thing to kind of watch it happen. Like, much like when Andrew sold in canned product to a Meijer or a Kroger before we ever had a canning line, being able to see the sales are coming and it's a solid trajectory, and build the business case for being able to upgrade the line and do it methodically has been a real privilege, I'd say, because sometimes that doesn't happen. The sales just come in a flat wave, and you're like, all right, now we're behind and we're playing catch up. But here it's been a really methodical and consistent grow for the company and for all of our brands and products kind of across the board. As I mentioned, every time we launch a new product, sales go up.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything cool coming out? Do you do like seasonal stuff? Or?
Yeah, we do. So one of the challenges is that every product costs, call it $10,000 before you can bring it to market, in stability testing and all the fun upfront work that is not normal to alcohol or CPG. Mm-hmm. So that was really limiting in first, because we couldn't launch a seasonal product after we paid $10,000 to get the product in.
Is that basically just like R&D, like stuff? Like,
yeah, you can chalk it up to R&D. It's all the stability testing. If we want to claim we have a 3-month shelf life, we actually have to send it to a lab and have it sit on the shelf for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, the whole thing. And that's obviously a very expensive process. So doing that allows us the ability to really kind of continue to push products out. And now that we're actually getting up into a full portfolio of products, we've got roughly 60 different SKUs that we run. We're starting to pull things back and make things that are seasonal and dedicate new products that are going to be seasonal. So we just launched a lemonade iced tea for the summer. The whole can is all golf.
Perfect golf drink. Exactly. Yeah, I was literally thinking Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, right? That's exactly it.
Is Arnie on the can? Is he like smoking on the can?
No, we couldn't do that. We did get some John Daly labels once, which was cool. I'll show you that. I think I gave Billy.
That's actually awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, we got a
John Daly on that
one. Yeah,
we've got a cease and desist on it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, the guys that commissioned us to make it actually did. So we were out of the loop. We just did what we were told. But yeah, we've got another playoff of some of the Blake's products coming. We're running a Philip Noir, a playoff their Black Philip, which was one of my favorite products they ever made, cranberry blood orange. That's going to be another 25 or 50 milligram product. We've got a fun playoff of Baja Blast coming out. that'll be a great summer hit for us.
How do you guys come up with these flavors? Is it like a brainstorm? Like who's like the brains behind like, hey, let's do this?
Yeah, so
it's a collective thing. It seems fun, dude.
It really is. It's fun. Our marketing director, Devin, does a great job. We've got kind of 2 meetings a week that we touch on product roadmap and product pipeline stuff. And our brand partners are always coming out with new products. So that's a trick in managing the whole portfolio, in taking the best and biggest products from the brand partners, but also making sure that you don't end up with 6 lemonades on the shelf or something like that.
Yeah, you just cannibalize yourself.
Exactly. And that the consumer doesn't win and the buyer doesn't win at the end of the game. You're stacking a bunch of lemonades. You're going to see who's wins. So we do try and avoid that with a lot of the portfolio building, and highly casual and our house brands are uniquely lower dosage than a lot of our brand partners. Most of our brand partner products are 50 or 100 milligrams, where these are kind of positioned to the more approachable, the lower entry level position. So we do try, and if we see that there's a gap in the market, we do try and fill that, whether it's through antagonizing one of our brand partners to put a product out, like we have been doing with some shots and live resin stuff, or if it fits well within our wheelhouse, like a Honeycrisp apple product or a cider. There's nobody better to do that than us. Our VP
we know apples.
We know apples, and one of the first guys I brought over with me to Emerald Canning was Matt Wiles, who is our VP of Innovation and Operations, and he's a phenomenal formulator. He came up with the original triple jam recipe for Blake's, and he did all of our original formulations and helps all of our brand partners. So he gets a ton of credit with our products and our product roadmap and the formulations and stuff like that. He's always kind of on the cutting edge. And Devin and Shane's out in the market on a daily basis. He hears what buyers want, and Devin, coming from innovation at Founders in New Holland, can see around the corners and trends and stuff like that too. So it really is it's a collaborative process. We take all input, all ideas from everybody, and try and bring them in and test them and trial them, because that testing process is so expensive bringing a product to market. So you really want to have it fully vetted that you have a winner. Especially up until this point. This summer is really the summer where we can truly try things with a higher level of risk that's acceptable. Last year with having, call it 20, 25, 30 products in the market, everyone needed it. You couldn't throw out something that you thought like maybe this is either a home run or a walk. Like you don't know. So now that we're there and we have a little bit more breathing room because we have a variety of SKUs, we're getting a lot more fun and a little bit more experimental with a lot of stuff. So
sounds fun.
It is. It's been a great journey.
That's awesome, dude. What fires you up, man? Like what is your favorite part about all of this? Is it just watching it grow? Like what is the...
It's a lot of watching it grow. And seeing things scale. Yeah, that's a slow process. It only happens once a year. But this every day is a pick your own adventure. And there's so many variables, and so I really enjoy problem solving and working with people, and kind of creative problem solving in general. So this throws all kinds of different problems, whether it's compliance or formulations or regulations or anything in between. Brand partners, it's a totally new turn for me in my own career in working with people. I've always traditionally been on the operational side, so kind of behind the scenes, and here now working with more brand partners and managing sales teams and marketing teams and stuff like that. Much more of my focus is on, call it front of house and the sell in and the sell through, which has been a really great learning opportunity for me. I'm one of those guys that just likes to keep busy and stay moving. I don't really watch TV. I don't really sit on the couch at all. I'm always doing something. And this brings so much to the table for me to learn and pick and choose what I think I need to dig into, what we need to hire out, what we need to delegate to somebody or promote somebody who might be capable of taking on that job or task. And seeing something grow this fast is incredible. When I started at Blake's, there were 6 of us in production, and we were producing 10,000 cases, got up to 1.3 million across 4 facilities. It was an incredible run. And funny enough, when I started here, it was 6 employees, and now we're up to high, I think 38 employees, call it on average on a daily basis. And we were running 1 tank every other week, basically. And now we're running 2 tanks a day. So it's funny to have the vision and to see that and get the pushback from the team. What do you mean? We can't run 2 tanks a day. Like that's we can't produce that much. It's just too much. And it's like, watch this, guys.
Yeah, we
like,
can.
We can. Help me out here. We're going to do it. And so showing the team and giving them that vision and having the experience that allows me to see around the corners, first and foremost, and then having they call it the emotional intelligence to work with the team and not just tell them like, yo, we're going to produce 2 tanks tomorrow, but work them through the process, allow them to ask questions and make them feel confident in their abilities so that they don't just malicious compliance, make the 2 tanks and make it a total clusterfuck at the end of the day. Exactly. They got to want to do it, and they got to know that they can do it, and they got to have confidence that if they make a mistake, you're not going to come down on them. So I think a lot of that all kind of came to a head. And that's what I like about Emerald Canning so much now is that it's growing fast. We've got a great team. The runway is incredible. Being at the 0.6% of cannabis right now, not even considering opening up 37,000 liquor stores and what that might do for our brands and our partner brands and the consumers and everybody else that wants access to these products. But they're
running like 20 tanks a day, man.
Yeah.
We bought the whole Gibraltar Shade Center.
Yeah, exactly.
Just full of cans.
Full of tanks and full of big canning lines. And it's nice walking in there every day and hearing the buzz and hearing the hum and seeing people go.
Everyone's super friendly, dude. I like pulled up. This guy's like, "What's up, man?" And I'm like, "Never met you. What's up?" He's like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "Good."
Yeah.
I'm like, this place is great.
We've got a great team.
I'm like,
there.
where do I go?
Yeah. And those things take time. I mean, building good teams takes a lot of time, a lot of turnover.
Hire slow, fire quick.
Yeah.
That's what we've learned at least.
Yep.
We made mistakes in the past, and now it's like, we hire slow, fire quick. Like, you just know, dude. Like, it's got to be a culture fit, bro. They have to fit in. They have to have the same core values as you. If not, it's just never going to work. So
you're
doesn't mean they're bad. They're not a bad person. It's just everyone. That's how we try to hire. It's like DNA makeup. Like, hey, do you possess these 5 core values as a human being? All right, cool. You're our people. You know what I mean? Like, that's what wear trying to attract, right?
Well, and that's exactly it, because you can get people who are genuine good people, but they may not align on the pace or the workflows or the organization or the hierarchy or something.
It's like, cool,
that.
Man. Like, there's a place for you. It's just not this place. Like,
exactly. And being able to get that up front is a huge win. So you're not bringing those people on, spending 2 or 3 months training them only to let them go, because you know, in the first, call it 6 days,
literally,
whether they're going to work out or not.
I'll look at. But Steve runs our Steve runs the team, basically, like production and the creatives. I look at him. I look at me. I'm like, he's like, I'm like, I don't think so either. Like, we just know. It's like, hell yeah.
Yep.
And it's always good when you get a hell yeah. It's like okay, cool.
Yep.
Validation. We did a good job. You know.
I one of my mentors, Pete Blake, always used to say, you got to look in the whites of their eyes, and you can tell just by looking at the whites of their eyes whether they're going to work out or not. And we used to kind of joke about it, but after I don't know how many interviews I've done across my career, but it's so true. First 15 minutes, you can essentially make a fairly valid assessment. I mean, everybody has off days and stuff like that. That's why I do second, third round interviews and stuff like that. But for the most part, I mean, you figure it out pretty quickly. And then day 1 or 2 on the job, you really got to get a good understanding if it's going to work.
Even with clients too, dude. It's like an important thing, you know, like having a client who's not a good DNA fit or match or whichever can be like super disruptive. It's
absolutely.
We just can't work together, man. Like,
and a lot of those situations where it's a needy or unorganized buyer, they end up taking so much bandwidth away from everybody else for a relatively small account when everybody could be focused on, called the big fish, the bigger accounts, growing things, instead of just satisfying one disgruntled buyer or account or something like that. Kind of the 80-20 rule on that. 20% is going to take 80% of the time, and the inverse on that as well, which is interesting because it seems to play out everywhere in life, right? That 80-20 rule.
100%, man. Sure.
I'm a big fan of that one. I think you brought that up last time we talked too, right?
Me or Billy. Maybe Billy did. Billy refers to that a lot.
Yeah, does he? Yeah. It's a great mechanism.
Yeah. Everyone understands it too, which is good. Mm-hmm. Well, cool, man. What does the future of ECP look like? Like, what are you guys?
That's a great question, man. And that's something, that's what I think keeps me coming back every single day, because I know eventually we'll be in those 37,000 liquor stores. There is not a question in my mind that in call it 10 years at most, we'll be in every single one of those stores. It's just how it plays out and why it plays out the way it does, and all the lobbyists and all the regulations and all the politicians and all of that, which has been a whole nother new exposure for me and very interesting, going to Senate hearings and everything like that.
That's why I brought up the Guinness brothers. Like, you got to watch that show, dude.
I do. I was talking to Billy about that.
So one of the brothers gets like super into politics. Mm-hmm. The show, it's just funny, dude. But like, it really is. You watch the show. It's funny.
What was the name of that again? It was
Guinness Brothers.
Just Guinness.
I think it's called Guinness Brothers. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna watch that.
It's a good show.
Sure. Yeah. You've got me.
No, like I'm like, don't focus on the bad shit. Like just focus on a high level. Like there's some bad shit. Like it's a good show. I'm not calling you like those guys. You know?
No.
But you'll see. They have to get into politics and like it's a whole big thing.
Yeah. And I mean that's how we're trying to structurally change a category and all the regulations in the stores surrounding it. So it really is the only way to do that, is to get involved with politics and start working with people and at least letting them know that these products aren't scary. Like drinking a fifth of alcohol is a hell of a lot scarier than drinking a can of this or something, way more, or even a 100 milligram drink. Yeah. So just bringing about that change and all the levels, whether it's new products that consumers can test, and then all the way up the food chain to working with state representatives and Senate members to try and put those changes in place that we obviously want to protect the consumer.
Are they pretty receptive? Like
they honestly, they are. And they're all people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You get these guys in one-on-one situations and you can really kind of have good conversation and understand where they're coming from and what the motives and priorities that they're battling and fighting in order to bring these to fruition. And what I've generally aligned around with all of our conversations around this is that everybody agrees that these products should be accessible to consumers. How, where, why, how they're distributed is all the variables that is all the work. Another 80-20 thing, like 80% of the work is going to be how do we get these to a store, and how does a store age gate them? They've already solved all these things by selling cigarettes and alcohol. All those things are solved. It's just the bureaucracy of trying to put a whole new category, a scary new THC category, into a store where if it's in a reach-in cooler, a kid could grab it.
Yeah.
A kid could grab a can of beer out of there too. What are we talking about?
I already knew that was one of the concerns, especially with like the higher
higher dose stuff. And we wouldn't even, that's where I think the 10 milligram and under are alcohol competitive products, where the 50s and up are more cannabis competitive.
Yeah.
Those consumers know what they're looking for. They're looking for a full high, where somebody drinking a 10 milligram, they're not looking to get totally cooked and play Call of Duty for 3 hours or something like that. they're looking to
maybe playing golf,
unwind or golf or something like that. Yeah. I got plenty of buddies that say it improves their golf game. Relaxes.
Billy's better at golf now, so that's why, dude. He sucked last year. Now he's pretty good.
We'll take the credit for that. Yeah. But yeah, there are two different channels for these unique products, and I think we're currently isolated in one, and by being able to tap into the other larger category, I think you'll see consumer adoption happen really quickly. You've seen it in Tennessee and Minnesota, and these states that have opened up their general retail stores to the products, and the sales show the numbers. I mean, there's no disputing that when you offer the products, consumers will buy them. So just getting them into the shelves has been the biggest struggle.
Yeah, it's kind of a waiting game.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, dude. Well, it's been great talking to you, man. I'm glad we had you on. Look forward to connecting more in the future. Maybe we'll go. You skeet shoot, right?
I do.
Maybe we'll have to do that.
Oh, love to, man. I'm going out on Friday. Sincerely, thank you, Corey.